Okay, cool. Okay, welcome to episode 2 of the Platform Killers development log and all that jazz. So, yesterday I had some progress, and you can always check the previous upload to see the previous progress. But where we left off, I had a single player object that I programmed behavior for that then I could drop into a scene and color tint them to be player one and player two, and also made sure I can assign things to the player to indicate if they are player one or if they are player two, not player negative 95, player two, right there. Okay, so now we have a thing where there's this weapon toggle I put on the characters. So the way that this works is that if the character responds with the weapon toggle, depending on the integer, depends on what weapon they're going to have. So right now, I have 0 for no weapon, 1 for a sword, and 2 for a gun that's yet to be programmed. But the way this works is that when the action button is pressed uh, in the code, let's see if I can find it, or if it's going to be a little bit too to try to find it right now. Um, the way it works is that it goes through a series of questions on asking if or if not, uh, if which number basically the weapon is on it. If it reads it as weapon 0, nothing happens. If it reads it as weapon 1, then you do the sword attack. When gun gets implemented, hit weapon 2, your character triggers the gun attack. So that's how all of that works for the characters. So today I got a level that is specifically designed for the basically just retrofitted the same levels, tile map stuff that I was working off previously to create a single screen room that's boxed in. As you see, there's some leftovers here from the other things, and the grunt enemies are still lying around inside the scene because I'm gonna get around to actually fixing the code for those characters in a little bit. But right now we have the kill zone, which is a new object that I added. And let's look at what the kill zone has to offer. So similarly to the other, to the player characters, there is a number, and depending on what number is entered on there, actually, let's clean up some of this stuff because that's just like a bunch of um, junk there. So um, did I? Okay, yeah, there you go. I put the answer key here. Okay, so for expert variable, there's direction, and depending on um the number that's put in for the character, it determines on what basically equation is used to determine the speed for the kill the kill zone to move. So the way this works is that when you're playing the game, you can have the characters walk around, and maybe the characters, if while they're racing to the goalpost, maybe they can hit each other, maybe they can't, and it's just only platforming only. Who knows if weapons are going to be enabled in race mode levels too? But for race stuff, it's going to just be platforming type challenge. But if the character gets stuck in there, then round is over, they die, and the other players rewarded the point. Now, the way this also works is that if the player gets to goal post, the blast zone, as you see, moves at one rate. But if they go to goal, they disappear, and then it speeds up and kills the other player character. If the character who gets in the blast zone or kill zone, the other player gets the point. Now, that being said, to answer the question, what if two players go into the kill zone? So, say red goes in the kill zone, green can go through, but he just doesn't die when he hits the kill zone, and he can move around within the timer uh, before things are killed. If it's proven as a level polish, I may go back and have the character just disappear if he goes into the kill zone, and the other, but just make it that uh, a point doesn't get rewarded to the other player in those scenarios. I think that would probably be good, but that's just like it's just a little bit of extra work and redoing of things that I would at this current point just rather not do, and move on to other bigger things. So that's what we have. And as you see, if both are at the same time, the way that the characters are placed, technically everything has to have a hierarchy. No two things can be placed on the same exact level. They have to be layered in some way. So as you see, player one is on a layer. Godot's a little weird compared to, like, say, something like Photoshop, where bottom layer is top layer, not top layer is bottom layer. No, whatever. But point being is that player one, since he's on the above layer, the kill zone is going to get to player one um, and kill him. That's just how it is. But just to show you this, let's go with direction 4. Let's see, um, was that the kill zone moving right thing? Oh, I'm an idiot. It was direction 3 is what makes the thing move right. Okay. So just want to show this part here, but wrong way, wrong way. I'm gonna need to change my notes. Okay, but at least that shows. At least that shows. Stop laughing at me. At least that shows that if the thingamajig is inputted in with different numbers, then it controls the direction. So let's try that kill zone again, but with number 2. All right, there you go. And now it's doing a sideswipe thing. So then maybe a level objective goes this way instead of the other way. So that is how the game works. And what I got to do next is the following. So I gotta actually kind of want to just show off this thing too. Also, if I wanted to say um, duplicate and then have 2 kill zones moving together, it's just dropping 2 of those objects in, and then boom, you get a sandwiching arena type setup. And then those ones would be ideal for the sword slashing, because you would be sword slashing each other into the blast zone. So like let's say I'm going to try to do that. So if so there's that. Technically though, if that happens, then they both can award a point. So gotta figure out the code for that specific scenario for the 2 closing ones. But um, you know, in those cases, uh, I'll the point being is that uh, if there's a kill zone, you can have 2 kill zones, and it's just changing the direction for in like number on them, and you don't have to redo a bunch of programming behavior. Try and make this stuff as flexible as possible so it becomes more drag and drop when I put the levels together, but try and make the actual individual modules for it is the part that's more cody programming heady. Okay, yeah, so right now it seems like I did turn off the weapons. So weapons are off, but if I go this way, okay, weapons were off on red but not the other. Now sword is there, and you can do that. So I also fixed the sword slashing quite a bit. So actually, let's just reset it here so it's easier for me to show off. So if I hit the character from behind or front, the character flies in the direction basically where the sword slash, where I slash the sword, the character goes. Originally, it was on the way that the character was facing, which would result in, if the character had the back towards the player, they would fly towards the player if they were hit. Now it's always away from slasher. So if if you want to do that too, it's also like you can kind of get like this type of stuff going on too. So yeah, I'll need 2 players to kind of get the intricacies for the sword slashing thing. But again, there's going to be 2 game modes for each room, and and there's just going to be different rooms that get cycled out by random, and there's going to be platforming challenge rooms, and then there's just going to be arenas just push each other into the kill zone type objectives. In the platform challenge, you probably won't have your weapon out, and you'll just be going towards the goalpost. Um, let's see if there's anything that's worth specifically noting. So yeah, The next steps are I need to implement the gun in there, which will just be like a simple you press the button and you shoot projectile type of setup, and then I'll after that have to do more platforming obstacles. So like if there's like a Goomba enemy, like you know how that gets put into the game, and if you get hit, it just knocks you back, and hazard traps for there. And then also I got to do a thing where the way that code works right now is that the kill zones is actually what triggers the sequence, and they it does the next room code. And right now it's timeout for this number in 1.5 seconds, but it says reload current scene. What I need to do is on this line that's highlighted, I need to make sure that it randomizes a selection, and when it does those randomized selections, it randomly selects a scene uh, from a folder, and those scenes being just different maps in there. The idea being that then you go through the challenges, and if a player isn't, if there isn't somebody who's become the target win amount, say like it's we play up to 10 rounds, okay? If a player hasn't met 10 rounds, it randomly selects another level, and then you get transported to that randomly selected level. But if you say somebody was at number 10, then it just the scene is no more level selections, and then you go to a final results page of basically who won and who lost. So that is how that all works for it, and the types of coding that I'm going to be doing, because so there were a couple things that I had to look up on how to do for this, but the main thing that I just don't know how to do yet, and I need to uh me yeah uh work on is that I don't know how to do randomized sequences. I don't know how to randomly select within that room. So that specific part of the game may be difficult, and it might just be simpler for me to just have like a a set level map that doesn't have any randomization for initial testing phase plans, but in the final version definitely would have the randomizations. And then also, I need to work on things like, as I said yesterday, the way that these Goomba type enemies are done. They're absolute just jank, whack code, just awful. It's just bad. I don't like it. We're gonna we're gonna throw these things out and basically redid them from scratch. In fact, if I had any common sense, I would just delete all of them and then just fix all that tile map right over here. So yeah, um, that is what we currently have right now uh, for the game. Hopefully, it's interesting and you guys are excited to see the full version of it. It's sorry, technical difficulties on that part. My point being, though, is that if I stick with this trajectory, I could ideally finish this game within a month. But that also is dependent on if I'm going to be, working on primary stuff, that is, my primary job related work. But if that goes smoothly, I'll focus on this game and I'll be able to get my, not if I say game, that's an overstatement, but in terms of getting like the broad bulk of the core gameplay together, I could definitely do that within a month and start and yeah, basically finish out the direction, and then the following month would probably be going into game polishing, optimization, all types of things, as well as also asset generations. Because if you guys haven't noticed, I'm kind of using a copyrighted character right now for as a placeholder asset. Capcom, don't sue me. Anyway, it will show you your progress again next session. I get to work.